You know, I've often wondered what an Imperial fort in Skyrim might look like if it wasn't all, you know, busted up and falling apart. And then, a few months ago, I'm wandering around up here on the north coast of Skyrim, and I might have been doing the Branche quest to find the Pride of Telvos. And I thought, I gotta build something up here one of these days, you know? Because the weather was nice, it was calm, it was peaceful, very tranquil. I mean, alright, aside from the snowy saber cats, ice wolves, and snow bears, and other wolves, it was a rather peaceful place. Anyway, so I got to thinking about that, I've always kind of wanted to build an Imperial Fort style player home that looked, you know, nicer. And so a couple months ago, I started doing that. And I'm standing here in roughly where the center of this structure is built. Now we've got a little bit of water right here, but I've taken care of that. So I don't know if this is the exact center, but we're roughly in the center of where it is. But let me show you on the map exactly where we are. There is the wreck of the Winter War. There's a guy in Windhelm. I think his name is Brunwolf Freewinter. He'll give you a quest to go take out the bandit leader here. Bleak Coast Cave. There's the Pride of Telvos. Snowvale Sanctum. Way over here is Winterhold in the college, which you can see clearly, right there. And over there is the wreck of the Winter War. So, gives you an idea where we are. Northeast corner of Skyrim. Take a little aerial look. So right down there is where I decided to build this thing. So obviously the mod isn't active right now, but I'm going to pop out and activate the mod, jump back in game, and we'll take a closer look and see what has been done with it. But that is where it's setting right there. I know it's kind of an odd place to have an Imperial type style fort, but this looked like a good spot. And yeah, when the weather's nice, this is a nice area. Well, I mean, aside from the neighbors who are a little bit hostile sometimes, but it's still. I've always wanted to put something up here, and I've always wanted to make a kind of a nicer looking Imperial fort style player home. So let me go activate the mod, and we'll see what we have. Be right back. Well, here it is. Fort Sundorroth. This is my version of what an Imperial fort could look like if it, you know, were nicer. I have not started on the interior yet, and the exterior is probably about 75% done. These walls are made out of a solitude floor piece, and I just tip it up on its side, and I changed the texture. I think this is the Windhelm stone texture set. And I kind of like the look of that one. I've been wanting to use that texture set on something at some point. So here it is. And the building in back is the living area. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the inside the towers yet, but I'm going to put something in there. I may actually end up putting the alchemy area inside of, say, that tower, and maybe the enchanting area inside of that tower. But I haven't decided yet. Let's see, the towers. Well, I didn't want to use an Imperial Fort Tower because that's one there. That's what they look like. Yeah, not great. I didn't want to use that. So what I ended up using, believe it or not, was something from the Soul Cairn, and it's called a light well. There's one now. If you've been to the Soul Cairn, you've seen these things. But this is actually very tall. We can move underground. You can see there's a lot of structure to it. So again, retextured and resized it, and that's what I used to make the towers with. I've added windows on this tower, and I'm going to add a few more, and I've added windows onto this tower. These windows are standalones. It's the same look as those windows, but those come with the tower. These are standalone. And I set the emittance on these so they'll come on at night. We'll take a look at that later. Or they'll illuminate. I mean, they'll glow yellow. Not really illuminate, but they'll glow yellow at night. I need to retexture those and put some more on there. I haven't put any on the back one yet. There are still a few miscellaneous pieces lying around. I've got another light source right here I was using to compare to the ones on here. I don't think I'm going to end up using that one though, but I kept it out here just to do some comparison. I'm still messing around with the light sources, but I think I'm good with what I have now. Let's see. We've got a little stable right here for our horse. Again, there's some miscellaneous pieces that I may still use. This one does not exist in the game. I built this out of a few different parts. There's a couple of stable parts from Whiterun. There's some stockade parts. There's some the walls right there from the shack kit. So it's a mishmash of parts that I put together because none of the stables they didn't look real good or they were just way too big. So I ended up building one. But this looks okay. And of course we got a couple of practice dummies and an archery target. These windows right here, I'm still experimenting with changing the different size and locations. I think I'm going to go with the larger size. This one has the same emittance setting as the one outside on the tower, but these windows are always illuminated. They won't go dark in the daytime. Some windows are like that. That's not much you can do about it. I've not put windows on this side yet. I'll probably put some over here and some on the other side. And the front door is not hooked up yet because there's no interior cell. Let's see, the turrets right here still need a little bit of work. You can see up in there I need to put a bottom on it. And I might tweak their position a little bit. And along here I think I'm going to put the planter soils. Now I might do something like a hanging brazier. In fact, these braziers right here, but instead of putting a fire in them, I'll put a planter soil in them. So I might do something like that, put in a few planters and maybe some of those open top barrels, something like that, just to mix things up a little bit instead of just dumping them on the ground like I normally do. And we've got a crafting area over here, well, the smithing area anyway, wood chopping block and forge, grindstone, tanning rack, workbench, smelter, usual stuff. So there will be low doors on these towers, so you can go inside and into the main building and out that one, and a trap door so you can get on top of it. But these other ones, you can just walk all the way around. And I might put a doorway right here, which would be the one you use to get into the tower. So I want to have passageways inside these walls. Well, in theory anyway. What else? Hang on a second. I didn't show this before, but in lieu of a portcullis, I've installed these things that you normally see in the Dormer ruins. And the main reason I did that is because portcullis is going to go up into that piece, and it might even poke through the top. We don't want that. And I was having a little trouble putting a shadowy area up there so it looks like it's going up into an opening. So I went with these things instead. And you can open and close it from in here as well. So it does the job, keeps out the riffraff. Got a couple of hanging braziers on front right there. And torches on either side of the door right there. I think most of the light sources I'm pretty well set with. I may still experiment with a few, and I may adjust the brightness and the radius a little bit, but I think I have them where I want them now, most of them. It's nothing too crazy. There are some Imperial forts that are just basically, you know, 4 walls in the building. That's kind of what I've done here. So it's, like I said, it's nothing too out of the ordinary. Let's see what this looks like at night. Hang on just a second. Alright, there we go. You can see the lights on the tower have illuminated, or the windows on the tower have illuminated. And we got nice illumination on top of the towers, the braziers. And those windows are always lit up. But this looks pretty good out here. Got decent illumination here. Maybe even a touch bright. I may turn the brightness down on some of those light sources. There's one right on top of the forge. There's one by this lantern right here. And another one over here between those 2 lanterns. And I think I'm going to put something over here. Maybe a lantern over here by the stables for the horse. I mean, not that the horse needs light, but, you know, it's kind of dark over in that corner. Fort Sundorroth. Yeah, it's not bad. Like I said, nothing too crazy. Just a nice, secure place to call home out here on the North Coast, which is really nice when the weather's nice. When the weather's nice. I had to wait 3 days to get this scene. But, yeah, I mean, you know, the interior is just going to have like a little Great Hall type building, and probably a room with some weapon racks and display cases. Of course, player bedroom, maybe a couple of follower bedrooms, a little living room, kitchen. I mean, that's pretty much, you know, usual stuff. Nothing too out of the way. There will not be any kind of basement or cellar because we are like 2 feet above sea level, and that just wouldn't make sense, because if we try to do that, it'd be underwater. I mean, it wouldn't, but it would, if you know what I mean. Besides, we got all the crafting stuff out here. Anyway, that is going to do it for now. Thanks for watching. Take it easy, and I'll crank out another video when I get done with the exterior. Well, the exterior right now is about 75%, so, you know, I got to finish with the windows and put in the planter soils and a few other odds and ends, but it's not a whole lot left for the exterior, and I'll be starting on the interior. So that's going to do it. Let's get one more look from above. This one looks nice from the air. There we go. Fort Sundorroth. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.